Hello everyone and welcome back. 4.1 has been out for a couple of days now, and we got some kind of initial feel for the patch after it's gone live. Some things that are good, some things that aren't so good and so could use some improvement. So in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the state of 4.1, what's worked, what hasn't quite yet. And I also wanted to touch on the couple of other little news things we've had this week, like the sneak peek and things like that. So we're just going to go through those for a little bit today. So if you want to see some of the latest Star Citizen news, as well as some of my thoughts on the first couple days of 4.1, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So first off, I wanted to go over the weekly sneak peek. The tagline for this sneak peek is, "Get ready for combat." So I have a couple of different opinions on what this sneak peek could be of. Of course, the thing you would naturally think that it probably is a ship. And it could be, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm not 100% sold that this is a ship. I think it's possible that this is some sort of new weapon or something combat related that's, again, not a ship. Maybe some sort of handheld weapon, maybe a gadget. I don't know. I know I had seen some people suggest maybe it's the crossbow that people have been waiting on for a long time. I don't entirely know. Let's discuss. So first off, if it could be a ship. So I think it's possible. Now, what makes me hesitant to say that I think this is a ship is mostly going to be in this texturing here. So if I zoom in, this texturing, this kind of brushed metal texturing, it looks way too, to me at least, this looks too finely detailed for what would look to be like a spoiler or something on a ship. It just looks a little bit off to me, like the scale of it. Whatever the scale of this thing is doesn't look right to be the texturing that would be done on a ship. Now, of course, it could be some weird angle they're using that's like zoomed in on some really, really small part of the ship or something. I don't know. Because if we look up here, we also see what looks like could be possibly like an engine nacelle. So when I saw that, I was like, well, I wonder if this could potentially be, maybe it's the Perseus or it's the Apollo, because those are both ships that are that have those sort of engine nacelle stylings. I'd say also the overall styling and color and design of this, it has an RSI look to it. So I was like, well, I wouldn't be surprised if this is, an RSI ship like the Apollo or the Perseus. So I went and looked actually on HangarLink or Fleet Viewer at the Perseus and the Apollo. I couldn't find anywhere on there that had this little, I don't know what you call this, a spoiler sort of little thingy, this little detail. So unless this is really just some tiny little thing on there that they've just, however they framed it, it just looks, I don't know. I was not able to find anything like this on either of those ships. So unless it's some other ship that we are not aware of, which is also very possible, I'm sure there are probably 10 plus ships still that we have no idea about that even exist. It could be that. So, but yeah, that's my best guess. Otherwise, I think it's some sort of maybe FPS weapon or something, some weird zoomed in, just little sneak peek at that. Again, they are very, very good at giving you just a little bit of a teaser, but making it extremely hard to actually figure anything solidly out. So we'll probably just have to see going forward. So unless this is like a redesigned part, little section on the outside of like the Perseus or the Apollo or something, I didn't see any little piece like this on there when I looked at those models. So we'll have to see. Let me know your thoughts on the sneak peek down in the comments. I'm interested to hear if there's any ideas any of you have that I just didn't bring up here because I didn't think of it or anything like that. So make sure to let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this. With that, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about 4.1, kind of how it's felt the last couple of days of playing it, and go over a couple of things in regards to that. So, over the last couple of days since 4.1 came out, I have played quite a lot of the new content, especially the Hathor facilities. I've been playing with a pretty big group of people, just that I found randomly and just joined up with them, and we've been going about those facilities. We have some air support, ground teams, things like that, doing aligning the different outposts and um, getting a bunch of mitables that way. I'm working on getting enough Karenite so I can go and get some of the upper level Wicklow favor ships. I think the one that requires 8 and 12, to see what those are and check those things out. So I'll make sure to do a video once I get enough Karenite for that. I'm getting close, but it'll probably be a couple more days. But so far, I'd say the new content with 4.1 is really, really good. Even though I had played it through a good amount in the PTU, playing it on live, being able to actually kind of keep those rewards, keep all the different loot you can find at the facilities, the ammo, the guns, the key cards, getting the new minables, things like that, has been really enjoyable. But I will say the biggest the biggest problems has been, as I'm sure many of you are aware of, the desync, the inventory issues, things like that. Server issues. I had, I think, one server that we just kept getting server error after server error, so we had to, keep hopping servers trying to find a good one. And sometimes you would find a good one that would work for, maybe a couple of hours, and it'd slowly start to kind of degrade. So that's kind of, I think, the biggest issue so far. And I know that CIG is aware of that. They've updated the status to show that it's degraded performance and everything like that right now. So hopefully we can get some hot fixes out in the next couple of days to alleviate that issue a little bit. But at least in regards to the Hathor facilities, that has been really fun to play through. Again, I highly recommend. I've tried doing them solo a little bit on live, and I think it is going to be very, very difficult for you to do, because pretty much every single facility I have gone to, there is always at least one hostile Polaris and like a couple of fighters flying around, which doesn't bode well for me when I'm flying like a Zeus or a Cutlass or something. So I think if you're able to group up with even like 5 people, you could have a couple of people in a Polaris or like a large ship, maybe like a Hercules or something, and you can have like 1 or 2 fighters. You can let a couple people down on the ground, get an outpost set up, move to the next one, and at least having a little bit of air support, it helps a lot. So I would recommend really trying to be open. You don't have to join their Discord or anything like that, but you can, group up with some people, talk with them in the party chat, and work together to be able to get through the facilities and get to those minables, because there's some really, really good stuff you can get with those. So I'd recommend considering that. Otherwise, some other things with 4.1 so one thing that I am very, very grateful about is the item recovery. So I think for now, again, I don't want this, how it currently is, it needs to change. For now, I think it's okay. But it is really, really nice to actually see people wearing stuff other than like the Mazarov armor, or whatever basic armors you can buy in some of the weapon shops or things like that. They're wearing their subscriber armor, or their really cool RSI spacesuit armors, and all sorts of cool things. So you see a lot more variety to the armor, and cosmetics. So the game just looks a lot nicer. I would say just seeing a bunch of players being able to wear what they want. So I'd say for now that the item recovery, it works well. I haven't personally had any issues where, like, when I've died and I respawn, it hasn't worked for me. Let me know if you have in the comments, because I haven't really heard that that's happened for many people. So you should be pretty safe. Even if you die, I think there's a very low chance that something goes wrong and you still lose your stuff. So that's been really good. Like I said, I hope they can get the tier 1 version of that out sooner rather than later. Maybe we'll see it sometime later this year, maybe, around CitizenCon or sometime in the fall. But yeah, that's my thoughts on item recovery. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on for a minute and just talk briefly about the ATLS Geo. I have not had a ton of opportunity yet to use the Golem, because that's not really super applicable to the Hathor facilities. But the Geo most certainly is. So I have used that a lot. So I picked up I picked up one of those with store credit that I just, had a little bit extra of. Been testing that out, and holy crap. I would say, again, I'm not saying you don't have to buy it with real money. I think it'll probably be in the in-game shops pretty quickly, like how the regular Atlas was, and it should be really, really cheap in-game. But when it does come to the in-game shops, I think it is an absolute necessity that you should buy, because okay, so having the ability, so the Geo has the ability to mine both the bigger rocks that normally like a rock ground vehicle would be able to mine, but you also, there's a little keybind, it's left alt and 4, that will switch the power mode on the Atlas Geo to a low power mode, which then makes it so it can mine hand minables. So you don't even have to get out, you don't have to have, you can just do everything in the Atlas Geo. It sucks up everything into the backpack. If the little backpack storage box gets full and you have a backpack on yourself, you could just get out, put the minables in your backpack, and then just hop right back in and keep on mining. So you have a pretty good amount of space to hold stuff. And also, of course, the thrusters, they make a really big difference. It's much easier to get around with those. So they're a little bit, my only critique with those is there's not a ton of control you have with them. It's kind of just whatever your direction is you're moving when you press spacebar, that's kind of just the way you go. So I don't know if there's any way they could maybe tune that a little bit to give at least a little bit of control, like mid-air, to change, where you're going to land or things like that. That's my one critique of it. But again, just having it in general, very helpful, very nice. Last thing I'll mention that's, I don't know if anyone else has talked about this much, but just the Geo's headlights. So also remember, I figured this out. So on the Geo, it's not L to turn on the lights, it's T, like turning on your helmet flashlight. For some reason, the Geo's like headlights or floodlights are just really nice. Like it's way better than your little helmet light. It just lights up everything really, really well all around you. So that's another huge bonus. It makes things easier to see, especially in those caves with the new mitables. It's fairly dark in there. So that's just one odd thing that's like I really appreciate about it, is it's just having those really nice lights. It's just really easy to see everything. So that's my thoughts on the Geo. I'm going to be trying to do some more testing with the Golem in the next couple of days, and I'll try and put out a video about that as well, or incorporate that into another video next week. So but that's my thoughts on the Geo. Let me know if you purchased a Geo. Let me know what your thoughts are on it, or if you've tried one out. I'd love to hear what you think of it. What you like, maybe what you think could be improved, anything like that. So that is going to do it for the Geo, and I think that's going to do it for most of my thoughts right now regarding 4.1. I'm just hoping, again, we can get some hot fixes that help with the desync issues. Hopefully they can fix some bugs with the Hathor facilities. Again, I guess that's one other minor thing, is sometimes the facility seems to get bugged and then you have to wait for it to reset, and that's a little bit annoying. Now granted, there are 4 of those facilities you can go to, so it doesn't, not all is lost if one of them isn't working, but hopefully they can fix some little things like that. But yeah, otherwise that is going to be my thoughts for 4.1. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the patch so far. What are you looking forward to about further updates that I'm sure we'll be starting to hear about, probably literally starting next week. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'll see you in the verse.